Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ari, and hopefully you'll stick around for a quick video. I was going through the internet and I stumbled on a story that came out of Kansas that I'm sure most of us probably were not aware of. Recently, the Kansas GOP met for their 2018 convention. And what came out of that convention is a little bit disturbing. So you might be wondering why you should care about anything coming out of the Kansas GOP. And there's good reason why you should care. Number one, the Republican Party has a stronghold on the state of Kansas. Their legislature is controlled by the Republican Party, as well as the governor's mansion. So the things that come out of that body are important. So while they were at this convention at the end of February, they passed a resolution on human sexuality and gender. Now, there was a lot to be, frankly, pissed off about in that ignorant resolution. But the part that really got me pretty riled up was when the document also said to oppose efforts to surgically or hormonally alter an individual's body to conform with perceived gender identity. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if the Republican Party of the state of Kansas had it their way, trans people would be legally barred from seeking therapies, including the surgeries, including hormone replacement therapy, that help them to live within their gender identity. That's problematic for a number of reasons. One of which is that the medical community has determined that things like hormone replacement therapy and surgeries may not only be beneficial for trans people, but for some, it actually might be a life-saving treatment. Now, this really shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. The entire Republican Party, the National Party, has built their modern reputation on opposing equality and trampling on women's rights. Women's rights have always been a focus for the GOP in things like reproductive rights and taking the control of women's bodies and putting it in the hands of a few narrowly elected white men. That's what we're seeing here as well. They're again trying to take control of someone else's body. And again, they use the cloak of religion as they do in everything that they do. Recently, the National GOP sent out basically a resolution, I don't know the exact wording, agreeing with Donald Trump's ban on transgender troops. So if there's any question about where the Republican Party stands on trans issues, it is incredibly clear at this point. They are completely and totally opposed to trans equality and trans civil rights. So no, this Kansas resolution doesn't necessarily have national implications like the overall GOP convention does. But what we have to keep in mind is that states right now exhibit a great deal of control over these issues. If you go through a number of states, for example, I live in one state that will not change your birth certificate, yet I was born in a different state. So I, Lord willing, will be able to get my birth certificate changed. But a trans person that I may be in contact with, that I may know, who was born and raised in my home state, has no way of changing their birth certificate. These are the types of things that the current GOP and social conservatives work to stop so that they can further demean trans people and LGBT people in general. Decisions like the resolution in Kansas are part of the reason why we as progressives, we as trans people, have to be able to stand up, to speak for ourselves. Our allies have to, as I said in one of my previous videos, not be silent allies. The time for quietly supporting is over. It is time to move to action, and that means pressing for change in your state. Contact your representatives. See where they stand on trans issues. But the fact of the matter is that the current Republican Party does not stand with us. Not that they ever really have. They stand diametrically opposed to our rights, to women's rights, to minority rights, to LGBTQ rights in general. And it's time that we spoke back up and let them know that, yes, the trans community in and of itself is a tiny community. But what they refer to as minorities, be it women, ethnic minorities, people of color, LGBT people, religious minorities, we are not the minority together. And what that means is that we've got to be able to cross the line. We've got to be able to see one another struggle. We've got to be able to see how all of these issues intersect. That women's rights, that the issues that apply to women's rights also have a direct impact on trans people. That issues of race have an issue related to trans people, LGBT people, people of faith, that all of this converges on a notion that an elite few have the ability and the authority to lord over us and put us under a different and unequal standard. That is where we have to join together. We have to say enough is enough. And the only way that we can effectively do that is by saying no to their bigotry with our wallets and also with our votes. 2018 is a powerful year for us. It is an opportunity to flip in the midterm. And I know a lot of us get excited about the presidential elections and then kind of sit out the midterm election. And that is faulty thinking, because this vote during this season will have as much, if not more, impact on national politics, on national positions of equality, than a vote for the president does. The president is one person. Come this November, we have hundreds of people who are up for re-election, and we have the opportunity to send them to the unemployment line. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I just wanted to do a quick update and let you know about a news story that I'd stumbled across. I will provide a link to that story in the description box below. As always, I'll end with my quote from Kesha: "Don't let the bastards get you down. Be you, be proud of who you are, and stand up, fight, and resist." Love you guys. Have a great day.